And we're live. Welcome back to Web Devs at Night, episode 3 with Anthony and Dev. What's up, Dev?
It's going good. Happy 420, everyone.
Yeah, happy 420. If you are celebrating, you will enjoy this episode. And if you're not, you'll also enjoy this episode.
Maybe just a few 5% less.
That's what you've been up to over the last 2 weeks.
A decent bit. I have like 3 to 4 AI related blog posts. Some published, some in the pipeline. Building like a multiplayer, multi-agent collaborative app, and yeah, just like getting deeper and deeper into AI every single day. I feel like I've been playing with Hermes on a brand new Discord server for the last couple days. Yeah, it's fun stuff. What about you?
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, I've been keeping busy as well. I've been working on these 2 blog posts for so it's called Systems and Signals, I think is what it's called. I might share that a little later, but I've been working on one on the agent auth protocol from the Better Auth team,
Nice.
which has been really interesting. I'm glad I picked that topic. 'Cause it's something that I wouldn't have known much about otherwise. I haven't tried to build any sort of auth with agents. And I
Mhm.
never messed around with auth and MCP. I remember people talking about that at the time, especially like Kent. And yeah, it makes sense why our current auth is just not set up for agents because it was created for humans. So something new in some respect has to be built. It's just a question of how different does it need to be. So that's cool. And then have a power sync one
Nice.
coming up, or a sync engine one coming up that was inspired by a talk you and I had. So
Cool.
we'll get into that probably on a later episode. But yeah, aside from that, just been working on some AutoShow stuff in the background. I have I think I told you this last time. I transcribed my entire catalog of content now. And now I'm actually working on like transcription benchmarks between all the different services. So I was like, I have these like 10 integrations, but if I'm trying to think of like what would be the ones that are actually the highest quality, so I can just use those and kind of average across them to get like the best quality without having to need to go through hand by hand for each one. So that's another thing we'll show later. And then yeah, the auto show front end V2 is pretty close to being ready. I want to get my wife to start using it very soon. So yeah, I feel like I'm juggling a lot of things, but for the
Mhm.
most part, like it's all going well.
Nice. Yeah, I remember the Better Auth team kind of like publishing this agent auth protocol thing. And the most funny
Mhm.
part for me was that I feel like within a span of a week, I saw like both the Better Auth and Clerk. They both released an agent auth protocol at the same time. I haven't looked like into either of them at all, but it was just funny. Yeah, it's I guess multiple companies are kind of like jumping on the same kind of bandwagon or trying to solve the same problems. I don't even know how similar they are. I haven't seen any interaction between them. It's just like, yeah, both of them trying to define some sort of a protocol in this space. Maybe they end up collaborating on that at some point.
Interesting. I mean, I'm looking at their docs and they have like skills section. They have an MCP server integration, a lot of stuff on MCP. So I assume it's
Yeah,
something to do with that. I don't think they would have built
I
their own actual
mhm.
protocol the way
No, I think
the
they
better.
have. I don't think it's on the thing on their documentation yet. It's
Where did
like
they share it?
if you
Oh, the
go to
Clerk
the
Agent Toolkit.
CEO's I'll look through the um I saw the CEO Colin talk about it on his Twitter, so I'll have to look for his tweet about it.
What's Colin's
Um,
last name?
Colin's Sidoti, but it's his Twitter is just tweets by Colin.
There it is. Yeah, like I know I follow him. Let's see.
I'll probably have to scroll up a decent bit to find it. Anyways, yeah, that was just a
All right, you
a
keep
funny
talking. I'll
incident.
scroll through his thing to see what it was.
Yeah, I mean it's an interesting space. I definitely agree that a lot of the things that we have, a lot of the infrastructure, the protocols that we have today, obviously like they were never built for agents because agents didn't exist
Mm-hmm.
until a year ago. So a lot of stuff has to be rethought from I don't know if rethought is an actual word, but to be taught.
Rethought. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, rethought from scratch, but everyone's going to be taking different shots at it, and a year from now, all of them are going to be probably wrong, and something else entirely is going to come out on top, which is kind of what happened with MCP.
That's how it always goes. Okay, I found it. This is useful. Actually, you can hit the grok button on someone's Twitter profile. And I just asked, did he announce a new thing? So it's called Agent Pass, an open protocol for agent authorization. Lets agents authenticate to third-party services on behalf of users without exposing long-lived credentials to the agent itself. The full specification. Yeah, no, this is exactly like Agent Auth. This is a full specification meant to solve the exact same problem. That's funny.
Yeah, I wonder how much overlap they have.
Yeah, I should have to look at this. Yeah, probably I should include at least a little explanation of this in the current blog post. I'm glad I found out about this. So it has a harness protocol, a service protocol, and an authority protocol. So that's definitely different than the better auth one. So the better auth one is just like a single protocol, I believe. And it doesn't, I think, have much to do with the harnesses.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe like attacking kind of the same problem from different angles, seeing what they can come up with. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where the space goes. I know Cloudflare has been trying to do some stuff to, I don't know, like try to make agents more of a first-class web citizen, because like obviously like they're the main company that offers the bot protection thing. Like, hey, we'll make sure that your users are actually humans, but that's when bots were undesirable. Now people actually want bots on the internet, so things are changing very fast.
Yeah, and that's kind of what the stuff we were looking at last time, like with the different bot things you can put in your robots.txt now.
Yeah. Cool, but we want to talk about, I guess, sync engines very quickly, and I'm really excited to see what's going on with AutoShow.
Yeah, there's been a lot of development, and it does a lot of things now.
Nice. Okay. Should I start with sharing my screen for the blog post, or do you? Okay. Let's see, Chrome tab. There it is. Okay. So this is a blog post that I wrote last week. That I've kind of been thinking of for a while. I've been tweeting about this for a while as well. But yeah, basically, like the idea is that if you're building like any sort of an AI app, or especially if it's like an AI chat app, there's a certain level of like infrastructure requirements or discipline that goes into like making it actually reliable in many ways. And the more you try to solve those problems, the more you basically reinvent your own sync engine. And I kind of saw Theo go through this entire journey last year, where he started with like a very minimal kind of local index DB setup. And
this
he basically
was for T3 chat, right?
T3 chat, yes. Yeah, so he basically like that's basically what he ended up doing, like build his own little sync engine that got super complicated. Then he moved to Convex, and everything got so much better. And yeah, Convex is like almost a sync engine, not entirely, but
that is something that we talked about in our first sync engine episode. Because that was one of the things I asked you, like, what does Convex have to do with all of this? And if I remember correctly, Convex is more like the back end versus PowerSync, which is more providing that client sync part that connects to the back end.
Yeah. And there's going to be an integration between Convex and PowerSync soon as well. But yeah, before I get into this, like, obviously you've been building AI apps for a while as well, and not just chat apps, but you've been building multimodal apps. So like audio, video, and everything in between. So maybe you have some insight here as well. Like, okay, what does it actually take to make a good, reliable AI apps that can actually survive things like I don't know, spotty networks, hitting refresh, or like sending things twice. I don't know.
Well,
like,
the way
what's
I built
your experience
my
been like?
stuff, there's no agents in the mix at all, and it's very much the way I kind of have approached it is I'm trying to expose all of the AI APIs to users in a way that makes it very simple for them to interact with them, for them to kind of mix and match them and combine them to each other. So I'm kind
Right.
of treating it like just a series of endpoints that you hit with different prompts that the user can provide to tell it like what to create. And so
Got
it hasn't required necessarily a sync engine. The thing that it does do is though is it generates lots of different artifacts and lots of different file types that need to be like saved in like S3 and also stuff being saved in databases, and they all kind of have to interact with each other. Because a lot of times now, what's interesting is that every modality feeds into every other modality. So you have text to image, you also have image to image, and you have text to video, and you have image to video, and then you have also like text to music now, and all these different ways of having them kind of interact with each other. So yeah, there needs to be some way to kind of have that all be connected together, but it's not, so far everything I've built has nothing really different from a traditional full stack web app using just third-party services. So all the AI stuff is all happening just within the third-party services. So I don't know how necessarily relevant the sync engine stuff is, because I don't have an AI agent that's going out on someone's behalf to like do a bunch of tasks and return back, you know.
Okay, yeah, I think like right after this, if once we start digging into AutoShow, we can uncover more of that. Yeah, but so the main thing that I try to focus on in this blog post is the idea that basically like, okay, let's go through this like quick flow of how you might build things today, and we can zoom in a little bit. So if you were building like kind of an agent or a chat app, what would happen is like you submit your prompt, you click generate, the client sends a request to the server calls the LLM, and eventually LLM starts streaming tokens, and the server basically once the server starts receiving those tokens, there's a branch where it sends those like it streams those tokens back to the client, and the client like renders them in the UI in real time. And then once
so what's
go ahead.
So then you save it to the database. So what you have here, this is like the very first thing AutoShow did. You would have first, you'd have a transcription that would be included with a prompt, and then that's what's kind of sent to the LLM API. I wouldn't have it stream tokens back though. I would have it generate the entire thing and then give you a page back that has because they're only getting one response. It's not a back and forth. So that's also what makes AutoShow kind of different. You're essentially always doing these like one shot kind of generations. There's never really a back and forth type chat interaction. At least not yet. There will be eventually chat with your show notes and feature, so that then we'll have a chat window that will be interacting with like embeddings and stuff. Basically like Ryan GPT.
So you save the result in the database once like the entire response is generated, and the user on the other end has to wait for the entire thing to complete before they see anything, instead of like seeing the result as it streams in, right?
Yeah, exactly. And part of that also is because they're not just going to be getting an LLM output, they also may be getting an image as well, or other things. So once they've selected what they want for the LLM, they'll have more things in the form to select while it's generating. Actually, technically none of it generates in the background until you create right at the end, but all this stuff can work pretty quickly if you use the faster models, I find. So and it's not, like I said, it's not like a chat back and forth interaction. So you're creating a kind of more substantial artifact at the end. So waiting a couple seconds is not as big of a deal, I feel like.
Right. I'm sorry if there was some background noise. A car alarm randomly went off. Okay, cool. Give me a second here. Okay. So for like a more I don't know, would you say that, you know what, we'll quickly get back to AutoShow in a bit, because I suspect that there's still a place for a sync engine in an app like that. Yeah, but the main thing that happens in this kind of a setup is that the client made a HTTP request, the server made an HTTP request, the LLM starts streaming back, and the server starts streaming to the client. This entire thing happens in a single HTTP request, right? which means if that HTTP request for any reason breaks, this entire thing kind of breaks. The server the server kind of like stops the stream there. The LLM response has been cut off in the middle, and you probably didn't even save anything to the database because you didn't get to like finish the response, and it's now just lost. So the only thing you can really do now is like go back and send the same prompt again and start the whole thing over.
Yeah, this is one of the reasons why I avoid streaming also, because then I get to avoid this entire problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I mean, streaming makes for a really nice UX because you can see everything happening in real time, but yeah, it's fragile, to say the least. Yeah. And then the other one is that a lot of times, like I'm on my phone talking to ChatGPT, and like maybe I'm outside or maybe I'm like on the road. I come back home. I'm waiting for like I send it a prompt. It's still generating the response, but I close my phone. I open my laptop, and I can't see the result because the output isn't finished yet. And once the output finishes, I have to refresh the page before I can see the result on my screen, on my laptop screen. So very poor, like kind of cross-device syncing. They have kind of fixed this, but like not really. ChatGPT doesn't really do a great job at this.
And then and this differs for things like Discord, where you'll see the text being inputted on each device kind of in sync with each other.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, very much like most AI apps kind of have like this single device real-time thing. And if you try to do anything on a second device, it's just not going to work.
Yeah, I'm switching between the two a lot. So I've definitely noticed a lot of these issues. Most of the time, I just will go out of the chat and come back in once I know the message is done. And then that, then it will update. So, but yeah, it's definitely annoying.
Yeah, exactly. And now if you take that to like something more long running, like a codex or cloud code on the like in the cloud, that's not something that's not an AI that runs for like 30 seconds to generate a response. That's something that can run for hours on a single task. So the more like you try to do these like long running, longer horizon things, the more this becomes a problem, because now you definitely want to be able to like I mean, you definitely don't want things to be fragile, because I don't want to send codex a request and then have the window open and not touch it for like forever. Like we've probably seen a bunch of like those screens where don't close this browser tab or your work will be lost.
Yes, and that was an issue with the first version of AutoShow, and a big part of V2 was fixing that issue. So there's a whole job system now. So as soon as something starts generating, there's a job that is going, and you can refresh and come back, and you won't lose the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're very familiar with the problem I'm trying to talk about so far.
Yes. Yeah. For sure.
Perfect. So the idea with like sync engines is that the response should just be a state, and we shouldn't really need to think of like streams as much, because that kind of complicates things. And this is actually similar to what you were talking about in terms of jobs. So this is how kind of like the agent interactions work in PowerChat, which is a multiplayer chat AI agent app that I'm building. Basically, instead of making an HTTP request from the client to the server to like get talk to the agent, the client just writes the message into the local database, and that's it. The client doesn't wait for a response. It doesn't handle streaming. It doesn't like it doesn't even like make any request directly in my UI component. I just write it to the database like this, and from that point, the sync engine picks it up. So in PowerSync in this case, because it's responsible for making sure the client and the server state are in sync. So as soon as I write something to as soon as I put the message in my client database, it will take that mutation, send it to the server, and make sure that it gets written to my actual database on the server side, right? Now the backend picks it up, and when the backend actually receives it, And again, this is happening like kind of in the background because it's a sync engine. The client mostly doesn't even know about it, but the server looks at it. Okay, I sent a message in this channel. Clearly, I want to trigger an agent. Let's add a new message here, which is from author type agent. So this was a user message. Here, the server sends an agent message, and with like just a placeholder thinking. So the server adds this message. It requests or it sends a request to the AI, to the LLM. We get the stream back from the LLM, and every time like we get a token or we get a chunk of text from the LLM, we just write it to the database. No other code. The server receives the request or the mutation that I added something. The user sent a message. It calls the AI, and it just writes each like response or each chunk of the token stream back to the database, and that's it. There's no like server client streaming. The client here just simply queries the database, the messages table. It has all the messages and it renders them to the UI. So the UI doesn't even need to know about a stream. It doesn't need to know about AI. It doesn't need to know about tokens or like anything like that. So this is like the simplest possible thing you could do on the UI side, which is query a bunch of messages and show them on this on the UI.
Yeah.
So it's like it handles all the edge cases where things run in the background. You can refresh and everything still works. You can change your devices from phone to laptop to desktop, whatever. You can even have like two people in the same channel looking at the same message. So all those edge cases are handled at the same time. The code is pretty simple. So this is kind of like, for me, it's the best of both worlds, where you get all the kind of fancy things. Okay, yeah, here. Multiplayer by default, resumable everything. So close your laptop, open it on your phone. You don't never lose anything. Offline queuing, which is like if even if I'm offline, I can send a message, and as soon as I'm online, it'll get synced automatically, and it'll go to the backend. It'll request a response or a generation from the LLM, and it'll start putting that in into the database. And obviously simpler client code. What do you think about that?
No, I think it's cool. I think is definitely like for people who do a lot of streaming stuff, I can imagine it would be really, really useful. So I guess I'm just wondering in what cases it's useful. I guess for me, the thing I would be getting if I put this into AutoShow is that you have that instant updates between like different devices, because that's the one thing that the way I have it set up right now is just like you would need to refresh the page, just like get the new episode or whatever. So it would be more kind of interactive in that sense. I guess I just don't know if that's like really worth it, is kind of what I'm thinking about right now, like how important is that really, for my app's use case. But I'm still open to be convinced.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we can go get into that a bit more, but to me, like the honestly, the biggest selling point of all of this is not even that you get like all of. Okay, yeah, I should put the focus here. Like this is to me the biggest kind of selling point. Like as a developer, I honestly, like, developers were never really good at caring about UX anyways. Like we always care more about our own experience than the users. So some part of me is like, oh, this is so much simpler in terms of like the code I have to write. But obviously everything else is a good bonus as well. Yeah, there's some stuff here about latency and write volume that's not like too big of a concern right now. But yeah, that's kind of all I had for this blog post. So this is probably a bit more focused on kind of the like foreground real time, like back and forth interactive like chat apps. There's obviously a lot of other kind of things that people do with AI, like mostly run them in the background, like what AutoShow does. So I think eventually I will try to look more into those use cases and address them as well. Yeah, and speaking of.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And you had a chat example also that I don't think you linked to it in there, but that would probably be
Mhm.
useful having a link to something or some sort of like repo or something for the code examples. 'Cause it's a that's just how for me I always like I don't like technical blog posts that just have code examples that are like free floating,
Mhm.
don't do anything. That's just my
Right.
preference though. Lots of articles are written that way, and it's a lot more work to have to maintain a whole repo. So, but
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I have like a footnote here with like Parchat sources available. There's a link to the
oh,
GitHub
great.
repo.
That's exactly what I was hoping for. Yeah, can you click that then, just
Yeah,
as a reminder of what we're talking
yeah,
about here?
yeah. So this is the part. I don't have it deployed anywhere because it doesn't have like real authentication yet. Um,
Mhm. You put like
but
the
yeah, this is almost like, I don't know, a Slack replacement almost, where agents are like kind of a first class citizen within like a multiplayer chat with channels and everything. um
mhm.
we can probably do like a whole dedicated stream going over this.
Yeah.
um
This is actually some of the
yeah.
things I could imagine being really useful because there's some
Mhm.
parts where with AutoShow that I want to have the ability to have like almost like cron jobs running so that you could check basically like you could subscribe to a YouTube channel and then whenever like
Mhm.
subscribe to Ryan's and every time he puts a new episode out, it would instantly run a new thing or run like a preset prompt based on how you want your show notes to be created. So get like the chapter titles out is what I would want, and then you would need somebody to be
Mhm.
notified by that, which right now everything I'm just having to go through like email. But with something like this, you could have kind of like a centralized hub where you get like messages back from your agent saying, hey, you have this new content ready and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of different AI apps are kind of getting into the autonomously running overnight, kind of like, or yeah, automations basically. I know I've
Mm-hmm.
like basically every like Codex I think started with automations. Now Cloud Code has it as well, and eventually I'm sure others will as well.
I'll just check that out. Yeah, I don't yet have my agents doing stuff overnight yet. I'm just sitting there like a chump on my computer.
Yeah, I mean it's that's a whole different rabbit hole to go down, autonomous agents and stuff. I've just like barely started experimenting with the sort of like overnight agents. Dark software factory is what some people are calling it.
Interesting. Give me just 1 second to
Um,
fix up my windows and then I'll start screen sharing.
cool. That's almost on the dot. 30 minutes.
Nice.
27. Okay. All right. So, okay, auto show. The last time I saw auto show was, I guess it started as something where you plug a, you give it a video and it gives you like show notes that you can use as a description, timestamps, chapters, or like social posts.
Yep.
But from what it sounds like, it's gone through some major evolution.
Indeed, it has. Oh, and I actually, I can share my sound. I think if I do it through the window, so let me do share system.
Is there? Yes, share system audio. That's a thing.
Okay, so be careful. Screen audio, you have a guest. They will hear themselves. You're sharing everything you hear, including their voice. This won't happen if you share browser tabs, and you'll only share audio from that tab. Okay, I think that's fine.
I don't think I hear myself, so we're good.
Okay, hopefully there's nothing weird happening on the back end.
Yeah, I
Okay,
only see
so
VS Code right now, though.
yeah, that's perfect. That's what I want.
Okay, and is
So
that actually VS Code or is that like Cursor? That's not
no,
Cursor,
this is
is it?
VS Code.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I
I
have
haven't
kind
I
of
haven't looked at VS Code in a very long time.
Are you using Cursor now?
I was using Cursor for a long time. Now I'm mostly on Zed.
Oh, Zed. Interesting.
Yeah,
Well,
but also
Zed
I
could.
don't write a lot of code anymore by myself.
Yeah, I mean, sure. Same. Yeah, for me, it's just what I'm familiar with, so it's what I'm
Mhm.
sticking with now. Okay, so I'm kind of planning on like having the CLI finally be released as like a v0.1. So this is a very rough release page so far. All this is AI written, so there's going to be a lot of changes here. But there's
Mhm.
this part here actually I thought turned out pretty good. So So it says AutoShow is a pipeline-oriented CLI that can ingest a target, classify it as media, document, article, HTML, image, batch source, or direct prompt input, then run the relevant processing steps, persist every artifact to its timestamped output directory, and record step metadata, cost estimates, actual cost, and timing in version manifests. So I also kind of accidentally built a benchmarking tool, which is what's really cool now, because I'm able to take all of these different services and actually benchmark them in terms of like how long it takes to get a response, how much is it costing, because every single transcription company says that their tool is the best transcription tool, has the highest accuracy and whatever. It's definitely not the case.
Yes.
So
it sounds like you have like separate pipelines for different types of media.
Yeah, so we'll get to that.
Okay.
So it supports single targets, directories, markdown, text, URL lists, YouTube collections, podcast feeds, local text files, prompt-driven image, video, and music generation. So a lot of that is kind of gobbledygook until you see it in action. But these are the main, and actually I'm going to do actually looks better with the help output. So let's check this out. Actually...
Wait, that's a thing? Bun as help?
So AS is the CLI. So I'm just running it from Bunks. It's not installed as a global.
Got it. Okay.
So these are the main processing steps. So they kind of go in order. And actually, let me just start by running the first couple ones because it'll be clearer. So the first thing you can do, let me just get one of the YouTube URLs. I actually don't have any in here yet. Okay.
There's people cheering in the fraternity house next to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess Monday evenings are Greek life. And I think it's like a chant for the fraternity itself. I don't know. I was never part of frats. I don't know what they do.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm guessing this is pulling metadata for that YouTube video.
That's what it should do. All right, sweet. So let me actually do it where it's going to save it. This is the thing that these freaking these LLMs do. When you ask them for a YouTube link, they'll give you Rick Astley. It's kind of funny, actually.
Wow. Wait, is that not actually the Rick Astley link, or is
it is? I mean, it's a link. I don't know if it's the original.
Okay.
So this is the very first step. It'll just give you the metadata. So back when I first had this tool built, this was also the first step because it would take that metadata and then build a markdown front matter thing. So that at the end, you would have kind of like a full page created. So, but it gives you now in JSON, so you can kind of you can be more flexible in terms of what you do with it. So we'll grab the video title, the duration, the channel, the URL, publish date, thumbnail, channel URL, and then the description. So that's the first step. Sorry,
does this count as a meta Rickroll?
Yeah, it is. That's funny. So if you then, the next step then is download. So this is if you just want to so this is basically like just a YTDLP wrapper. So it will download as YTDLP, and then you'll have the file. So this is what will eventually be used for the transcription. So for the most part, you usually won't run either of those two commands. That's more so if you just want to really separate the workflow atomically. But the main thing you'll do is, so I've broken it down even more. It used to just be one kind of pipeline that would include then the transcription, and then it would feed it to the LLM. But there are times when I would just only want to do the transcription part. So you can now just you'll do bun AS STT. So that's speech to text.
Speech to text.
Yeah. So all of the commands now are all pretty short. And there's a parallel one with speech to text now that is OCR. And so OCR is something that you couldn't do with the old versions of AutoShow either. It only took video and audio input, but now it takes document inputs as well.
Nice. So like PDFs.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Does it take
So that got uh-huh.
images? Okay, it was already able to
Yes.
take images.
It'll take
Okay.
JPEGs or
Mm-hmm.
PNGs or TIFFs, and it'll take PDFs. Also takes EPUBs, so we can work with
Mm-hmm.
books, and
Ebooks. Yep.
takes Google Docs, or not Google Docs. I mean Microsoft Docs, like
Mm-hmm.
DocX, and PowerPoints, and I think Excel sheets too. So you can feed almost any
Nice.
freaking file you could possibly think of at this point.
Cool.
So here's
And I'm guessing
transport.
like, yeah,
Mhm.
I'm guessing like you can configure exactly what model it's using for doing these things, and there's some default settings that you have kind of benchmarked and used. Like, okay, this is a good default, but I'll let you configure.
Yeah, so right now the default it's using is it uses Whisper as the default under the
Mm-hmm.
hood. So it starts with the local version if it can, and it will fall back to setting it up even if you haven't configured it yet. And then
Mm-hmm.
Reverb is also available, which can do local speaker diarization, which is really nice because that's like
Nice.
a huge problem with Whisper. And
Mm-hmm.
then there's a crap load of different transcription services because this is one of the main things I was using it for is transcription. So I really wanted to know which ones were the best or not. I'm going to end up probably removing half of these now that I've benchmarked them and create a separate repo that has like just
Mm-hmm.
benchmarks and that I can kind of maintain separately. So if we look at actually, let me show you the most recent one that I ran. This is really interesting. So this includes, I think, 8 or 9 services because some of them have 2 models in there. And if you see here, basically, Assembly AI is blowing away everything else. It's getting like almost
Wow.
100% correct. And I'm pretty sure I know the reason for this. That model is only 2 months old. It was released in the beginning of February, and almost every other model here is at least a year, if not 2, if not 3 years old. What's
Wow.
funny is the other most recent one, I believe, is 11 Labs, and 11 Labs is terrible, apparently. And I've run a couple of these. This is the only one I've run. It's gotten last place every time. So I think part of the reason for that is that they were originally focusing on text to speech and then have
Mm-hmm.
kind of branched out to these other things. So I think they just kind of felt like they needed a transcription model and they
Mm-hmm.
wanted to like build their own for whatever reason. And then they just didn't quite pull it off that well. So
Makes sense.
so this is kind of giving me really, really useful insight. And you have ones that
Mm-hmm.
people have never even heard of, like Soniix and Gladia. Soniix
Right.
especially is the cheapest one that
Mm-hmm.
they have, and it's also tends to have some of the highest quality. So, and then Gladio is more expensive, but it has better processing time, and so on and so forth. Your like AWSs and your Google clouds, for a long time I didn't include those because I didn't want to have to mess with their services. But I eventually
Right.
decided to just to so I could get in the benchmark. And they're terrible. They give you really low accuracy and they take ridiculously long. They take like 10 times longer. Google Cloud takes 10 times as long as almost all the other ones.
And expensive. Wow.
Yeah, and it's really expensive. Yeah. So this is like, this is a really, really high value benchmark, at least for me. So I'm going to
Sure.
eventually do this with all the different services because
Mm-hmm.
especially for image, video, and music, those are even more expensive. So
Mm-hmm.
it can cost you like, like 10 cents per second of, video processing. So you're paying like multiple dollars just for like a single clip.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
that's all.
How?
Sorry, what?
Sorry. And so all these are cloud hosted models. Do you have like a similar one for local models?
So that's one thing that I actually thought of just when I was working on this last time that I need to
Mm-hmm.
get the Whisper and Reverb ones in there as well. Part of the reason
Okay.
why those aren't in there is because this is just benchmarking this diarization models also. So that's why you see it
Okay.
has speaker
Mm-hmm.
aware, where Eric's is also comparing are the words being given to the right speaker, not just are the words correct, but are they
Got
tracking
it.
the number of speakers correctly? So it's
Mm-hmm.
slightly a higher level. So it would be harder to benchmark against Whisper because it's just giving you, I would have to do a similar benchmark
The.
where these are just giving you non-diarized outputs.
Mm-hmm.
But I am going to probably throw it in there because I should throw the Reverb
Nice.
one in there because that also has
Mm-hmm.
diarization. But this is something I just did a couple days ago. So that's a
Okay.
good call out. But yeah,
Nice.
anything else
No,
on this
this is
before
pretty cool.
I move on?
No, we can move on. This is pretty cool.
Yeah, totally. So if you then flip that to OCR, you can do it with, like I said, all the documents. What I am going to probably do, this is one of the last things I need to do before the release will be ready, is I'm going to combine the OCR and STT commands into a single command called extract. So you don't have to think about whether you're doing one versus the other. You'll just point it at a file and it will know what kind of file it is and know what to do with it.
Nice.
So let me show you what this is. So this is actually this is the PDF from AWS's docs. This is so stupid.
Yeah.
They don't offer any way to like copy their docs beyond letting you just print out a PDF. So this is one of the first reasons why I even built the PDF functionality in the first place. I wanted to do OCR on the Amazon docs so I could get the Amazon OCR tool to work. So that's what it's gonna feed
Never
it.
change Amazon. Never change.
Okay, so then this was pretty simple. It just extracts the text and then you got it. So this also has a local option that it's using by default, and then some paid services as well. I haven't run the benchmark on this one yet. This is the next thing I wanted to compare. But
okay.
Yeah, this doc is super messy. I need to update this one still. But the main yeah, it doesn't even say anywhere where all the services are, but this is kind of this tells you all of the doc formats that it accepts and kind of which things it's going to route it to based on that. So this doc I need to put some work into it, but there's some in here that I didn't even know it supported, like RTF, because LibreOffice was one of the first PDF tools I think I put in here to work with like EPUBs and stuff. One cool thing is that if you're giving it an EPUB, you can get it to extract it by chapter. And then I built a custom thing in for PDFs where I will figure out a way to detect the chapters by like reading the table of contents and then kind of discovering them. So that's because I'm building this functionality where I can take a book, break it up into chapters, and then take each of those chapters and give it a prompt to generate lyrics. And then you have like an album's worth of lyrics based on a certain topic. And then you can generate songs based on all of those lyrics. So you get like an instant concept album. That's going to be, I think that's going to be a super cool feature.
Oh, definitely. I want to do that with the Harry Potter series.
Yeah, there you go. You could create your own Harry Potter Hamilton.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking of converting books into audiobooks, but converting books into concept albums is
and you can also do that. So that's where we'll get to the text to speech stuff as well. Okay, so we don't need to go. So it's not the last thing actually with the OCR is that you can also feed it just a link, and it uses this tool defuddle to extract out. So this is just pointing at my blog homepage, and it pulls it out into nice markdown for you. And I also have an integration with Firecrawl, which is a service that does this with like an API key. And for OCR, I also have it. It supports Mistral's OCR tool and GLMs. They're the ones behind GLM is the models. Z.ai is the company. I think. Yeah, ZAI. Yeah. So they have an OCR model.
So are these also using cloud models, or are these local as well? Or
so each of them have both. So Defuddle is a local model, and then Firecrawl is hosted, and then for OCR My PDF and Paddle OCR, those are two both local open source tools that you can use. So essentially everything for OCR and transcription gives you local ways to do everything, and also local LLMs, which unfortunately kind of suck. And there's also a local TTS option as well. It does not have local image, video, or music options yet, because those you just can't really run on a MacBook. So I've not built those in yet because I won't be able to use them. But if I have a nice rig at some point, I'll probably have ways to do that locally. But yeah, so most of the functionality you can do locally up to a certain point.
Cool. Yeah, this is pretty cool. Yeah, I have like a 64 gig M4, which can probably run like some decent size models, but I don't think video models can still be like video models are probably much bigger.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so since some of these I already ran ahead of time, so if we now the write command is where things kind of all combine. So the write command is what the original auto show was, because it would stack all of those previous steps together, and then it would feed that to an LLM in the last place. So that would be like if you ran this. So this is going to take a URL, which is like a 10-minute long podcast recording I have where I'm talking about like Lambda School. And so we see here it's using Whisper. So there's a Whisper progress bar. And then it's going to take the transcript and a prompt and then feed that to ChatGPT 5.4 Nano. So, and then also, if you look at actually, no, it doesn't, it just shows the cost at the end. So it tells you here that it took about 10 seconds for Whisper to transcribe, and it costs 0 cents. It's local. And then the LLM took about 12 seconds and cost this is 0.22 cents.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
not 22 cents.
Not a whole lot. And then you'll see the metadata here. There's actually, let me go to here. So this is there's a bunch of metadata and a lot of information in terms of like predicting the cost and then getting the actual cost, because you're kind of always going to be guessing to a certain amount, because it's going to depend on like the exact amount of tokens. But this is the transcription here. And then this is the prompt that is going to get fed to the LLM. So this is pretty much exactly the same as the very first time I created this prompt, because this is just the default. So it has a short summary, which is like a 1-sentence description, then a 1-paragraph description, and then chapters. And it will then, let's see, and then here's the result. So right now it's giving the result in structured JSON. Let's see. Actually, sorry, this is the transcription result. This is the text result. Here we go. Yeah, so I have them all using structured outputs now. I still have to build in a thing where it takes that and actually gives you the markdown file finally for it to kind of be feature parity with the first one. But having it do this is better, because you can get more guarantees on what you're getting back and then do more interesting things with it after the fact. So yeah, so the speaker explains how learning React, GraphQL, and Redwood came through Lambda School, sharing nuanced advice on boot camps and dropout churn. Yeah, so this is the original thing that the tool did. So the write command is the original kind of version. And then if you also feed it additional flags, you can have it do text to speech with the generated output. And then you can also do text to speech just based on an arbitrary input. Like if you have like you were saying before, if you want to create an audiobook, you could feed in anything into the document one and then do the OCR command, and then you'll have an output that you can feed to the text to speech. So this is this is a short little example here. This is a short test passage used by the AutoShow CLI. So let me run that one.
So this is going to take, what did you have in that document?
So it's just some text.
Oh, just a test. Says, okay.
Yeah, it's just a short little test with like two sentences that they're gonna say.
Right. Okay, and it generated a WAV file.
So let me know if you can hear this.
AutoShow TTS test. This is a short test passage used by the AutoShow CLI end-to-end test suite to verify text-to-speech generation. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog.
Yeah.
Of course.
So that's if you just feed it your own input. But you can also, if you append it to the write command, it's going to take whatever was generated by the LLM and then turn that into text-to-speech. So I already ran that one before. And for this, it's kind of stupid because the thing it generated is, I think, almost as long as the original video.
Hashtag short summary. Episode description.
Short summary.
The speaker
is the
shares
same
how
amount
learning
of-
React, Redwood.js, and GraphQL shaped their path from Lambda to jobs,
Yes,
offering
just reading
nuanced
that.
guidance on choosing boot camps.
Yeah, so
Oh,
that's
hashtag episode summary, because it's like
it's
yeah,
reading
it's
the
reading the
final
markdown.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's something I gotta fix. That's yeah. So there's a
Yeah,
couple
probably want to remove the symbol
so,
from it.
yeah, exactly. Okay, so then the text to speech stuff kind of follows on from the write command to add like another step into the chain, and then you can go a couple steps further and then feed things like image models to it. And so this one I already ran, but the thing it created was pretty cool. So I think it was this. Okay, great. So this I think was with Nano Banana. So what it did, it kind of created this, which is it basically took the chapters and created a nice little poster. So I thought that was really not too bad in terms of what it created there. So I'm not sure what the actual prompt was that was fed to that. I wonder if it will say here.
Yeah, it should be in the metadata of like what was the input given.
Okay, so that's the.
Sure.
Okay, I know what to do here, because this is one command that I don't use a lot, but
oh.
Because they're it's like with the LLM step where there's a default prompt, and then you can modify that with other prompts. So I just have to figure out where's. And actually, I think I might know where it is.
Makes sense. Yeah, so if the idea is like, here's some source piece of content, I want an image out of it, I should definitely be able to like specify exactly what I want the image for.
Yeah, exactly. So if you want like a thumbnail, or if you want an abstract blog cover post or something like that. So yeah, this is one thing that I need to spend more time actually coming up with image use cases myself, so that I can try them out more. This is because I've been mostly using this to generate text, and now though the image models have gotten really good. It can do a lot of stuff they couldn't do when I first started building this project. Like just that one that we were looking at, like there's no way that you could have done this with any of the first models, because they couldn't like write text at all. They couldn't spell like words.
Yeah, I don't think anything before Nano Banana could have produced this.
I mean, the latest ChatGPT one can do it better. And that one came out before Nano Banana, but the like Dolly, the very first ChatGPT image ones definitely could not.
Yeah,
and that was one of the big tells for AI images, is that you would just look at the lettering and it would just be like all like run together and like surrealist, and there weren't real letters,
Yeah, I feel like I've seen the latest ChatGPT model mess up sometimes as well, where Gemini or like Nano Banana just like it's not only good at text, but it can like actually draw infographics pretty well.
Yeah, no, Nano Banana is definitely better. It's way better. Yeah, because this is something that I've been building with my friends. And I think I've mentioned this before. Is that we're trying to create a comic book, and I have a whole pipeline now of stuff that's going to get fed into the AutoShow CLI very soon. So that's a really interesting use case.
There isn't a built-in image prompt?
Okay, that actually makes sense. So it's basically just feeding the entire text prompt to them and just having it create whatever it wants. That actually kind of makes more sense. Yeah, because the reason why I'm confusing this is because the AutoShow, the front end app has built-in image prompts already, and you can choose between like 6 of them. But that's something that I haven't gotten in here yet. Okay, so that makes sense.
But that's on like the front end side, and not like on the server side. You just like pass the configuration. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, so that's something that I still need to add in here. This is good. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to go through this with you, is to remind me of the stuff I still need to build. but you can just give it any arbitrary image
Mhm.
prompt. So this is a sunset over a lake, and also like for the transcription, you can do multiple services at once now. So you can, this will do Gemini and OpenAI. I think I had, yeah, so just a sunset over
Nice.
the lake. Yeah, so those look nice, you know. And here's the metadata. And this is actually not Nano Banana. Gemini has another thing called Imagen 4. There's a, it has its certain use cases that's supposedly better at that I don't remember.
Right.
And
I feel like
video essentially works exactly like image, and I'll show that in a second.
Right.
But go ahead.
I feel like the main use case, at least for me, the main use case for image generation is less of like, here's a blog post, give me an image, but more of a like, I am in process of writing this blog post and I need images to put in between, or like maybe as a header image. I mean, this can probably, like, if I point this to my draft blog post, it can probably do that with like some prompts.
Right, because that would be giving it an input like with one of the
Mhm.
document types, and then you could have it. You can have it take like chunks of it, and then generate
Yeah.
images for each. That functionality wouldn't necessarily be like turnkey yet, but it'd be very easy to do something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, this is pretty cool. I feel like what you have here is like a very nice set of primitives for any sort of like content transformation, and for any sort of like it should, like, these are really nice primitives to stitch together in whatever sort of pipeline you want at any point. So I feel like what I really want to do is hand the CLI to my Codex or my Hermes agent, and like, here's a bunch of stuff you have for content stuff, and now help like just either figure out how to like best use all of this to help me, or here's how I want you to use this for like whatever, either like helping me create content or digesting a bunch of content and like creating summaries and feeds for me.
Yeah, totally. That's something that I still haven't done yet. I haven't had an agent point at the CLI, but I've been building it in a way where it's going to work well for that. There's actually a specific skill I found that was like how to make your CLIs agent ready, and a lot of it was already stuff that I was getting from another thing. There's a CLI kind of like best practices doc that I built a skill from that does a lot of things, like ensures that there's like conventions, and the main thing is like the main things to avoid are interactive mode, which I already don't like. Always allow any command to be run, which is a combination of flags or whatever and options.
Yes.
And then always have the ability to like configure the output so you can get it in just like JSON or however. And then as long as you do those, you're going to have a lot better time getting an agent to use it.
Yeah, and the only thing I would add is like really, really helpful error messages.
Yes. Yeah. For sure.
Cool.
So here was the video one. So
yeah, video is the most interesting one for me.
Neon City Street, slow camera pan, and it's going to be very short. It's only going to be 4 seconds.
Okay.
And there's no sound.
Right. I mean, you can probably combine the, I don't know. I guess.
Some of these will. Some of the videos do give sound as well. It just kind of depends on the model you're using.
Got it. Okay. But like maybe you can pair it with a separate like audio generation or music generation thing to do that.
Yeah. The video one is the one I've spent the least time with because they're the most expensive to run. But
of course.
And actually, there's way more providers than this in the AutoShow Bun front end one. So it's actually, I'm not going to spend too much time talking about that one. So Minimax is the other one right now that I have an integration with because these are a lot cheaper. I'm not sure how actually good they are. Let's just try. Let me see what the most expensive one is. So
are you planning on like doing similar sort of benchmarks for all of these?
Yes. Yeah.
Nice.
Definitely.
That would make for a really nice blog post.
That's one of the things I'm planning to do is make a blog post comparing them because it cuts through a lot of the noise.
I actually didn't know Minimax had video models. That's really nice.
But actually, Minimax is almost the only other service that essentially has everything, has all modalities, I think, except maybe transcription.
Mm-hmm. I thought Kimi was trying to do something like that as well. They just launched 2.6, which I haven't had a chance to look at.
Z's GLMs also is in a similar boat now, where they kind of offer almost everything. So a lot of these providers seem to be going.
Yeah, Anthropic is kind of like the odd one out, where they're like hard focused on code, which I want to talk about it after this as well.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah,
so okay, these are estimated cost. Okay.
Yeah.
So these can generate like pretty short videos.
Yeah, you can select, and so you can configure the video duration, and a lot of these are just going to depend on the underlying services. And you can configure the aspect ratio and resolution. Basically, the idea is that this doesn't do this yet, but eventually I want to just have expose all of the different things that you can configure, especially for video and image. So there's a lot of different stuff that will kind of make a big difference in terms of what you're generating. This also will help if you can like specify things like this should be widescreen, or this should be, you know, whatever aspect ratios you kind of want. The problem is all of them have like different terms and ways of like doing it. So there's a lot of that goes on to kind of creating, like you said, the primitives to put them all together. So video still needs a decent amount of work, but I've been okay with not really emphasizing, because I know the video models right now are at the point where they're good, but they're going to be really, really good like in a year from now, I think. It's really wild, like especially with Seed Dance 2, like the videos that people are putting out now, they're insane.
Seed Dance, okay, that's of course ByteDance. Yeah, that makes sense. Nice.
Okay, so here's going to be the Minimax version of the same prompt.
It's not bad at all.
Looks really good, yeah.
Yeah, cool. I like the little rain effects on the road.
Awesome. Yeah, so video stuff, there's going to be more to come there.
What's the kind of like maximum duration of videos that you can generate from these services?
You know, I'm not 100% sure offhand, but I think
ballpark
at most like 15 seconds usually.
Right.
But you can have it generate multiple videos, I think, or you can just kind of chain multiple commands. I don't know. Like I said, I just need to spend more time looking at the video ones. So
yeah, I think the main problem with like like chaining them and having like multiple clips that are stitched together is that it's probably very sorry.
Yeah, they don't connect. They don't connect with each other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like very difficult to get consistency. Like if you want a single character to appear in all of them, I mean, there's probably tricks to do that. For example, you run an image model first to generate an image of that character, and then you pass that into each of them. Yeah, so maybe like that, maybe those sort of like complicated pipelines can be set up eventually to do longer form generation.
Yeah, that's definitely the idea. And that's why I'm starting with the comic book, because what I'm thinking is that once you have the comic book generated, each individual panel you can combine with both the text, which you could then TTS a voice from, and then sync that with a video based on the initial image. Because I know that's already a workflow. I know some of the AI video shows that I've checked out are doing. They'll have like voices that go along with an image, and then that just kind of they animate just the lips, and so there's not really a lot of cinematic motion going on, but it's good for like if you have like a cartoon with like two characters just kind of talking back and forth.
Yeah, basically like the comic book acts as a storyboard for or like a blueprint for the video.
Yeah.
I wanna I wanna use this for all the shows that I like that never got a season, that left on a cliffhanger and then got canceled.
Dude, yeah, and so I heard was talking about this on a podcast with like you could just generate infinite Seinfeld right now, because you could just have it write just more and more, and they're not going to be as good. They're not even going to be close to as good. But if you're just someone who watches the show in the background, like you almost won't notice that just
Yeah.
different.
Right,
Yeah, and
Tom
I
and
think that's gonna be
Jerry.
a big thing. I also think like mashups, like someone who wanted to like create their own like Lego Star Wars movie, or
Yeah,
some other
crossovers.
weird, or a Simpsons Star Trek, or something like that. You can do any of those things now if the tools allow you to, but based on copyright
Yeah.
rules and all that.
Iron Man fighting Batman. I want to see that.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So what this is going to do, I think this is the command I ran, was actually, yeah, lo-fi chill hop with soft piano and vinyl texture.
Nice. Cool. Yeah, that doesn't sound too different from the kind of lo-fi beats I just have like normally in the background. It's very nice.
Yeah, so that was from 11 Labs, and it was just an instrumental. Minimax is the other music one I have. It's actually, I already have some examples I can show here. So let's look at. So this is something I created with Suno.
This is a song that is used as an example.
Nice.
For the repo that needs an example. This
Nice.
example will be used as the example. And it is very short. This is the whole song.
Lazy rhyming. You just repeat the words.
Yeah. So so what that's going to be for is, this is actually something different. This is creates a lyric video. So this is something that actually I demoed this when I was on Nikki T's stream. Right. So this is very, very cool. It's something I built myself because Suno has the ability to create lyric videos, but I just didn't like them. There's like a lot of things that bother me about them. So I was like, I should just build my own version of this. So this is what it's going to end up look like.
No. Okay. Oh yeah, there's no sound.
Imagine the sound is there.
Yeah, I mean the previous one, we can just combine them. Doesn't have great contrast, but yeah, at least it worked.
Yeah, there's a couple things actually here. I had this in a different repo and I just upstreamed it. So there's actually a couple things that are still kind of broken that I'm realizing in there. But yeah, so the thing you said actually is something that I had to specifically fix. That's supposed to dim the background image a certain amount. So I'm realizing now that I think I didn't port that part over. But yeah, so the lyric videos are cool, especially when you combine it with the concept album idea, because then you'll have the ability to go straight from an input like a book or something to the song lyrics and the songs, and then the lyric videos. So you have an actual video you can then put up just on YouTube, and the entire process almost is automated.
Yeah, I mean you can use like a video model to do music videos as well.
Exactly.
Not just lyric videos.
All sorts of cool stuff that can be done. So I think that's pretty much all of the functionality that it has. Now there's other kind of convenience commands as well that we won't go too deep into. Things like the report one is the main one. That's probably important because that's what's helping do the benchmarking. Because I start with taking, like for the transcriptions, I'll take all the ones that it outputted, and then I'll have it basically look at all of them and compare them across each other to see what is the closest to being correct, and then which ones overlap with each other. And that's how it's doing the benchmarking. And then there's a config one where you can set like defaults. So if you want, because right now I have some defaults set kind of implicitly in the tool, but really you probably want to pick whatever models you're going to want to be usually using and things like that. So that's one thing that I need to document better, but that is one thing that's like really useful now, especially there's so many models available. There's so many things to do. So you can kind of put a lot of, if you only are using the same ones most of the time, you can put them in your config, and then you can just run really short simple commands.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Sweet.
Damn.
All right, that's probably a good place to start winding down.
Yeah, no, I really like this.
Yeah, and there's a front end too, which we'll go through on a later stream, where most of this functionality is exposed through just a UI interface for non-technical users.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Okay, so there's something I wanted to get your thoughts on.
Yeah.
Have you seen this Remotion? Do you know about Remotion?
Could you just pull it up and share your screen?
Yeah. So okay, basically,
And yes, I have heard of this.
okay, the
But I know
main
very little.
idea is okay, that's fair. That's fine. Let me Chrome tab. Okay, there we go. And if I do this, okay, I'm sharing my screen. Why do I have the pricing page open? Okay, make videos programmatically. Okay, so this is one of the things that kind of makes, yeah. So okay, so we were just talking about how like the Chinese model providers, sorry, AI labs and OpenAI, like all of these labs are kind of like dipping their toes into like multimodal, like video generation, image generation.
OpenAI specifically has pulled out of
Yeah.
video on purpose.
Sora, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Makes sense. The
yeah.
American labs have been good at video compared to the Chinese labs, which is a very interesting phenomenon.
Definitely, yeah. At the same time, Anthropic very famously has not invested in any of that at all.
Yeah.
And their kind of like entire focus has been on making the models really, really good at writing code. And their kind of philosophy is that code is the way to AGI, which like on kind of like first thought, like it doesn't quite make sense. But when I saw things like this Remotion, especially like Remotion here, I kind of started getting a better feeling of what they're really like onto. So basically, like,
because it's like also how it could, Claude can write SVGs, which create images. It's the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. You can make images with code. You can make videos with code. You can
think about
like
recently with like MIDI. Like I want to start trying to generate like music based on like creating MIDI that then you could actually have it run through instruments. Because I'm sure there's open source MIDI libraries and stuff.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Now, if you try to get Claude to like generate the scene of Tokyo at night with like neon colored neon signs and raindrops, it's probably not going to be able to do that with Remotion or with most of these tools. But there are, if you wanted to generate like an animated infographic or like an advertisement, Remotion is probably going to be a better choice than using a video model. So there's like this balance
of stuff it's generated that we could see.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. They have examples here. So it's like all like using React components. Yeah, landing page stuff or like simple motion graphics.
Some of these. I want to create some stuff like this for like diagrams and stuff to explain AutoShow.
Yeah, and let me actually pull up something that I made with Remotion.
Oh, great. Yeah, I should look into this. We might actually do another stream on this. This could be fun to check out.
Yeah, where is that? Okay, there it is. No, that's not the right one. Okay. Cancel, share my screen, and share this. Okay. So if you can see this, this is like the winner announcement that I made, and I did not touch it. Yes, and I did not touch a single line of code.
This is really good, actually. This is better than I was expecting.
Yeah, and this is like I didn't touch any code. I honestly didn't even put that much of effort into like this. Like if I spent a whole week prompting and coding on this would probably be like 100 times better. So this I wouldn't even say like this is like my highest effort thing. Yeah, and there's some, I mean, the music wasn't AI generated, but I'm not sharing audio. That doesn't matter. Yeah, but this is the kind of sort of thing that has me thinking of like there has to be a, like, we haven't quite figured out what we want the models to do and what we want code to do. And probably one of the things in this space of like AI powered content transformation generation will be like what like how much should we just let it write code to do these things, or maybe even like, okay, I don't know, like I saw recently somewhere that like there's a Photoshop skills file so that models can just like use Photoshop programmatically to do a bunch of image editing.
Wild.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's really interesting. I'm
Yeah.
sure there's a
And
similar thing with like Figma too.
exactly.
Figma
Yeah.
must have their own AI thing in general at this
They
point,
do.
I would guess. Yeah.
They do. I don't think it's very good, but that also reminds me that for image generation, you can, okay, like some images are probably like you want the models to generate. But for example, like if I want a YouTube thumbnail, oftentimes I just tell Claude to like make an HTML file with a bunch of different variants, and I'll select from there, or I'll do something there. So like images also, you can just get models to write HTML or like build kind of visuals that way and just take screenshots of that.
Yeah.
So I mean, ideally, I probably want to combine them. Like I can imagine that for some parts,
Sure,
I don't want React components. I just want like a nice like graphical. Like I want Nano Banana to build a nice visual for me. But for a lot of other things, I probably want like code based generation. Yeah, I don't know if like you've thought about like bringing that into AutoShow at some point. Like let's have it
actually
make
haven't,
images
and
and videos out of code.
yeah, I'm glad you're bringing this up because it's something that I have played around with a little bit myself, just in the the chat UIs with the models. And I did this like about a month ago. I created a bunch of like diagram visuals and stuff that kind of go through, because I need to add visuals to the AutoShow homepage right now. And I was thought it was pretty interesting, some of the stuff that I could create. So I hadn't thought about actually bringing that into AutoShow because I'm just leveraging the models right now, but it does make a lot of sense. And it's something I should probably think about how that would make sense to do. But yeah, no, it's a good thought.
Yeah, and then at that point, like kind of stitching that together into like the whole pipeline of like whatever sort of content transform, again, like like everything that you have right now are really good, really nice primitives. This would probably just be like another primitive, like build an image using HTML, or make video using Remotion, and then like however like people want to stitch them together into their own workflow. Cool. No, okay, this is so the CLI, it's I guess it's on GitHub. People can install it, play around with it.
Yeah, let me just show that real quick. Everything that we saw is going to be in this PR right now. So it's on the bun branch. And if you look here, this is like many months of work. So there's a ton of code being added in this one PR. So I'm hoping that this will be ready to go in the next like week or two. And then I'll also eventually probably the big thing right now that I still need to figure out is publishing it through NPM. Wait, I never showed this, did I? Sorry, there we go. So yeah, so you go to AutoShow /AutoShow-CLI. If you do AJC Web Dev instead of AutoShow, it will forward you. And so people want to, everything that we showed here is on this, because this also represents a wholesale migration from the old stack, because previously I was using Commander and Node.js, and now I'm using Bun and a CLI library I already forgot the name of. It is, let me,
827 down.
It's massive. So I'm now using that's what it is.
Clerk. Of course.
So this is CLI library.
Never heard of this one. What made you choose this over like some of the more popular options?
Because I wanted something that was going to I'm trying to do everything just through like Bun and Bun native APIs and avoid Node stuff entirely. So I wanted something that didn't have a bunch of Node dependencies. I'm not really sure if this is even that different in that respect, but it was at least like I did a search through a bunch of different stuff. And I was asking like ChatGPT. I was like, I'm looking to try to have something like this. What would be the best CLI thing, because you also have like Oak Cliff and you have Commander and you have all these other node-based ones, which are really good. And that's what I've been using. I've been using Commander forever, but this is like somewhat like Commander. This is a similar type of syntax you get, where you kind of just define like a command and then what the commands do. But I think it was, more lightweight and more composable and more built around just like web ESM kind of standard stuff.
Right.
So I think that was the idea. And yeah, so far it's been fine. Because I originally had been doing it just with Bun, literally parsing the arguments and everything like that when I did the first migration. And then I was like, probably should pick at least some library. But
Yes.
yeah, so if people want to check this out, just check out PR19.
Cool.
This should be merged fairly soon. And then
I'm gonna play around with it.
AutoShow app that is still pretty close as well. We'll probably demo that next time in 2 weeks when we meet again. Was there anything you wanted to talk about for the next episode?
For next episode, like as in plan what we're going to talk about.
And we can figure this out off stream. I was just wondering if you had anything top of mind right now.
Nothing top of mind right now. Just talking about CLI stuff. There's also like Effect CLI, which is definitely not like a minimal lightweight thing. It's a bit more like fully featured. It's built on top of Effect TS, which means you get like.
I just started using Effect actually. I integrated it into my blog repo just to kind of see what it would be like.
Okay, cool.
CLI thing now.
Yeah, they've had it for a while, and it's almost certainly going to be like much better than most other CLI tools. Yeah, so that might be something interesting as well. Yeah, no, I'm really excited to play around with the CLI. Yeah, it kind of stitch together something that I can actually use for my daily kind of like content creation. But I mean, if this actually helps me with my YouTube channel or with my job, then that would be amazing.
That's the hope. So if you have use cases, let me know. I will make sure to make them very sweet. I can build in stuff you want to do specifically. That's kind of where I've gotten a lot of ideas, is just showing this to people and then being like, I want to do this with it. So yeah, that'd be great.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, that's a good note to end on. Go use AutoShow. Go try out. Whoever's watching this, content creation, content transformation has never been easier.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, thank you everyone who was watching. We'll be back same time in 2 weeks. So we will catch you guys next time.